Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to talk about why basically people love Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany policies, and basically, if Hitler was alive today, they would actually support it. Like, probably half of the world population would actually support a Hitler in their country. They would actually support Nazi type policies in their countries. And why do I say this? Well, I say this because we've all seen the videos, YouTube videos where people are interviewing, people, and they're like, well, we need to, fire people who don't take the vaccine. We need to evict people from their homes if they don't take the vaccine. We need to, put people on no-fly lists or not even not travel lists, right? Where they can't use any public transportations, they can't use planes, they can't even use their own cars to travel. Heck, there's even videos of people who actually support putting people in concentration camps, right? Who are not vaccinated, right? Taking basically the unvaccinated and putting them in concentration camps so they don't quote infect the others, so they're not a quote danger to others. And so if Adolf Hitler was alive today, literally like half of the world population, or at least one third, would actually support him and those types of Nazi policies. I mean, there's video after video after video after video after video. There's literally like 30 different videos just in the past few months on YouTube. People supporting firing people for not taking the vaccine, firing healthcare workers, firing nurses, doctors who don't take the vaccine. It's like they've done their job for 1.5 years without the vaccine, risking their lives potentially, right? They've done that without the vaccine, and I mean, chances are most of the nurses and doctors have probably even had COVID twice, maybe even 3 times. They have the best immunity. If you're dealing with COVID patients for 1.5 years, they've probably had COVID. Most of them have probably had COVID, right? Some of them have probably had it twice, maybe even more. They're the least like, risk level people, and they're you have the least risk of doctors and nurses spreading COVID to you or for them catching COVID. But again, there's been again YouTube videos where people are like, yes, fire the nurses, fire the doctors, yeah, fire anyone who doesn't take the vaccine, even if they had COVID. And again, we live in such a decadent century, in such a decadent time where no one has any critical thinking. No one thinks logically. No one thinks reasonably. No one researches stuff for more than like everyone reads a headline and that's it. No one goes into detail. No one actually reads the article. No one goes into research. No one goes finds alternative news or alternative information. They don't you know balance things. They don't search from one source and then from another source and then from like unless you basically fact check the information from multiple sources on different aspects and spectrums, ideological spectrums, you cannot come to a reasonable conclusion. No matter which side you're on, you always have to check from the opposite side, right? And then you can see. I mean, you can easily spot lies. You can easily spot lies. You can easily spot you know, when people are just bullshitting you, right? They're saying things as facts without actually presenting the facts, without actually presenting the evidence. Like for example, the ivermectin being horse paste, right? It's a it's a human drug in human form, in pill form. If like anyone who's been to a pharmacy knows that. Well, they should know it, right? But uh, the issue today is people don't have critical thinking. They just mindlessly follow and obey, and that's the issue. And they did that in Nazi Germany as well. That's I mean, Hitler was very popular. Think people are like, how did Hitler happen? He was very popular. He was very popular. He was a socialist. He's a basically Bernie Sanders type who basically promised people free goodies, and they all loved him. They all elected him. They all wanted what he was doing. Two-thirds of Germany loved Hitler and supported everything he was doing. Putting, Jews in concentration camps, people supported that. Just like people support these days in Britain, in the United States, even Australia, putting people in concentration camps or firing people or evicting people who are not taking the vaccine. Most people don't have critical thinking these days, and that's the issue. They don't have critical thinking. They don't research stuff, and they just go along with the legacy media basic narrative. Whatever they read first in the news, CNN, Washington Post, whatever, it's like, okay, that must be true. I will only read the headline, and then that must be true, right? I'm not going to research it. I'm not going to fact check it independently myself, not rely on so-called fact checkers. And I'm just going to believe it. I mean, most people today don't even know they have immune systems. Most people in the entire world, like that's the level we're at, don't even know that they actually have an immune system. They don't even know they have an immune system. They don't know how viruses work. They don't know how bacteria works. They don't know how our immune system works, how our biology works. They don't have a slightest clue about it. They have no idea how our biological bodies work. They don't know that we actually have immunity, natural immunity, that we have an immune system that basically has the genetic information for billions of viruses that have ever existed. For as long as it has existed, our own DNA, our own genome has antibacterial and antivirus information able and capable to fight every single virus on planet Earth. Okay? We have a genetic code that carries information for billions of viruses that have ever existed on planet Earth. But people don't know that, don't understand that. They don't know they even have an immune system. And that's a real shame because again they're just ignorant. They don't have critical thinking. They've never paid attention, not even slightest, not even a little bit of attention in high school, in one-on-one biology class, right? So to them it's news that humans actually have an immune system, and without an immune system we die within like a second. We're constantly bombarded with bacteria and viruses every single day, every single minute, every single second. There's bacteria and viruses living in our bodies. I mean, there's probably hundreds of bacteria in our mouths. And there's actually good bacteria, there's actually bad bacteria. There's bacteria living, quote, good bacteria living in our gut. That's actually helpful, you know, to us. And if you actually destroy that bacteria, which we can through antibacterial drugs, let's say you get sick from a bacteria and they give you antibacterial drugs, those drugs also destroy your natural gut bacteria. And so when they do that, you're actually performing worse. You're actually worse off temporarily because that bacteria does get replaced. But the point is, temporarily, you are going to get worse because you're also killing your own gut bacteria that's actually beneficial for your health and even including mental health, which is extremely surprising. But yeah, there have been studies that gut bacteria even improves mental health in people. So, I mean, yeah, but when people don't even understand that, like the mRNA vaccines cannot exist. No vaccine can exist. We don't have immune systems, right? But people don't even understand that, and they're going to turn on CNN, and all it is fear-based propaganda. Fear-based. You're going to die from COVID. You're going to die from COVID. Everyone's dying from COVID. There's no solution to COVID. There's no treatment to COVID. It's like, unless you get the vaccine, that's it. COVID, you die. Even though like 99.9% of people survive from COVID, and most people in the world have realistically had it. CDC admitted that probably up to 90% of Americans, and even more, over 90% of Americans have probably had, well, they have some sort of immunity. The CDC said that over 90% of Americans have immunity from COVID, whether it's through vaccines or natural. CDC's own numbers, for example, say that over 150 million Americans have probably had COVID-19. Some just didn't know it. Some were asymptomatic. Some had such low symptoms that they didn't even go to the doctor and they didn't test. Okay, so 90+% have some sort of immunity to COVID, whether natural or through vaccines. But the point is, people don't know that, and they're all accepting these authoritarian Nazi policies. Where it's like, well, if you're not vaccinated, we are going to fire you. If you're not vaccinated, we are going to evict you. If you're not vaccinated, we're not going to let you go outside of your own home. You're going to stay in your own home, and you're not going to be able to move because you're an evil person. You're a danger to everyone else, even though you have natural immunity. And even if you haven't had COVID, let's say you're someone who has not had COVID so far and doesn't have the vaccines, has not had any of the vaccines. Your body has natural immunity. Your body will fight COVID even without recognizing it. If you've had COVID, that means that chances are that your body will create memory cells, right, on how to fight COVID. And then the next time you get it, it's going to be much easier, much more effective to fight COVID. Right? If you're, say, sick for like 2 weeks, catch COVID first time, you're sick for 2 weeks, next time you catch it, because your body does have antibodies and does have, more importantly, memory cells, you can fight it more effectively. So instead of being sick for, say, 2 weeks, you're probably going to be sick for a week, maybe even less, maybe even just a few days. Because your body now knows exactly how to destroy the virus. But even if you haven't been sick from COVID-19, even if you haven't, and you're not even that much younger, if you're 50 or younger, and more importantly, you're not obese and don't have any serious underlying conditions like cancer, diabetes, those types of serious issues, you're not at risk from COVID-19, period. You're much more at risk from COVID-19 even if you had the vaccine. If you're obese, if you have diabetes, if you have cancer, if you have like those types of very serious underlying medical conditions, right? Or maybe if you have HIV, AIDS, etc., right? Those are types of conditions that can, significantly affect your health due to COVID-19. But yeah, the issue is today people just don't have critical thinking and don't research stuff. They just hear it on some media or read the headline and that's it. And then they support literally Nazi type policies. Again, if Hitler was today and he was saying, well, let's get everyone who's not vaccinated fired, they would support him, right? That's what Hitler did. That's what Hitler did. It's just he used a different excuse. Now it's basically, well, the unvaccinated, they will unvaccinated, they're dangerous, they're evil, back then it was the evil Jews, it was the evil Jews, it was the evil anti-Nazis, everyone who wasn't, if you're not with us, you're against us, right? So everyone who wasn't a Nazi, they were evil, they were dangerous. And so they use that to go after them. They use that to go after them. Jews are not. They were saying Jews are not Germans. They're not. Yeah, they're here. They're leeching off of us. That's where they're dangerous. People were, yeah, they're dangerous. Let's put them in concentration camps. I mean, that had significant support in Nazi Germany. Significant support. And so when you see people, again, nurses being fired, doctors being fired, people being fired for not getting the vaccine, people actually support that. They actually support actual Nazi-like policies. So, whether your name is, I don't know, Adolf Hitler or whatever else, whether it's Joe Biden or whatever it is, right? They're going to support those policies. And why? Because most, again, like big, big amount of people, like probably half of the people, don't even know that they have an actual immune system. They don't know that they have immune system. They don't know that they actually have an immune response. They have no clue how their bodies operate. Okay, and that's why they're so. Look, that's why they support Nazi policies. That's why they support. Well, if you're unvaccinated, you're a danger to everyone. No, you're not. No, they're not. No, they're not. There's something called natural immunity. mRNA vaccines cannot work if it's not for natural immunity. No vaccines can work. Doesn't matter if it's natural or mRNA vaccines or the previous types of a weakened virus or a semi-dead virus, whatever, right? They cannot function, they cannot work if it's not for our immune system. It's our immune system that actually creates the threat prevention, that actually creates antibodies and creates memory cells to be able to then fight the virus. And again, COVID is not even dangerous. If you're under 50 and have no serious underlying conditions and you're not obese, your chances of dying from COVID are extremely, extremely, extremely small. In considering most people have had it, that's CDC's own admission, over 90% of people have some sort of immunity, and that over 90% of people have had COVID. Well, they said over 150 million have had COVID, but like it's probably even more than that, and the rest are vaccinated. So, I mean, realistically, I think that probably good 70% of people have had COVID. It's gotten through most people. And the more open countries were, right? For example, in Sweden, they probably have, I bet that 90% have probably had COVID. There's probably still 10% who haven't had it, who will have it. And again, reinfection is possible with natural immunity and with vaccines. The thing is with natural immunity is once you've had it previously, your body knows how to deal with the virus more effectively. So the next time you get sick, chances are you're going to have a much milder disease. Now again, if you've gotten COVID, let's say 1 year ago, right, and in 1 year time frame, you've actually developed some sort of serious illness, right? Let's say diabetes, or maybe you've gotten really fat, you've gotten to the point where you are now obese. Even though you've got natural immunity, your own immune system is much weaker. Is much weaker. So that means that you, like, even if you get COVID again, your immune system might not, even though it's more effective at dealing with COVID, you're actually still weaker because of your underlying condition to be able to fight it. So yeah, but yeah, that's it for today. See you guys next time.